welcome everybody. Welcome to the live stream. How you doing? I'm Jim. It's a Side Hustle Shuffle. Cut it out. Welcome. We're going live in a bunch of places. We got a treat for you today. Okay, we got a very special guest. Very glad to have her. Altovise, Pelzer. She's here. She's in the green room right now, getting ready to go. We're gonna check a couple of things, make sure that all the audio is going good and all of that happy stuff, which I think it seems like it is. And I think it is. So that sounds good. Anyway, how's everybody doing? It's Tuesday night. What are you guys doing? What did I do today? I was pretty busy today running around the neighborhood. But it was actually very nice, very beautiful out today. It was a very nice day to be outside. I was outside most of the day, so I was very good and blessed for that. Anyway, content creation. Okay. This is the thing. How do you go from being part-time to being full-time? How do you go, and what is content creation? How do you make money doing it? What does that even mean, right? Like, what do I need to do? I need 1 million followers. I need 50,000 followers. Like, what do I need? Hey, Ken, what's going on? All right. Ken's still at work, but he's listening in. Thank you for joining us. How many followers do you need? 50,000, 100,000? They say 1,000 true followers. 1,000 true followers, is all you really need. 1,000 true people who those people who storm the beach for you. That's what I'm talking about. Those kind of people, not people that are not your subscriber count or your follower count. That's a vain metric. I'm talking about the people who comment and share your stuff. Those people, that's your main people. You get 1,000 of those, and you're going to be sitting pretty. So anyway, I think we're going to jive right in and see, and we're going to welcome Altovise and see how she's doing. I'm hoping I'm saying it. I get so confused saying your name. It's incredible. But here we go. We're bringing her up to the stage. There we go. Hey, there she is. Welcome.
Hello.
So glad to have you. Cut it out. All right, it's a little bit long. It runs a little bit long, but people like the applause, So welcome.
I am super excited to be having this conversation. This is going to be so much fun. I'm a little bit unhinged, a little bit of a wild card, so we're going to have some fun with it.
It seems like that. Like 8 o'clock might be an early time. Like I think it's not, but it's crunch time to get home from work, to get home from your daily routine or whatever. Get your dinner together, get your family together, and be able to take a breath, relax. And well, I'm going live, so I try to be a little bit more animated, a little more up for it. To try and project. So I try to keep some energy going. And my kids are playing. My kids are watching sports. You might hear some exclamations in the other room. We got some playoffs going on. Anyway. So how long you been doing this?
So I've been an entrepreneur since 2014, but I've been doing the influencer piece since 2016. And it has been one heck of a journey. Some ups, some downs. I've seen the inside, the outside, the behind the curtains. I've seen it all. And there's still more that goes on and still more things that are coming up. So it's an exciting experience. I have to say that. I have not had any time where I was just like, I regret making the decision to start, being an influencer and doing content creation and speaking and all of the other things that I've been doing, where I've seen some other people that were like, yeah, I'm going to just go back. And I've been like, nah, it's been pretty cool over here.
What made you think this was even possible? What inspired you to get into it?
So here's the thing. I didn't think it was possible. So I have to say this. I am a micro influencer. So I've never had over 10,000 followers on any platform except LinkedIn. I've never had more than 10,000 followers. I've always been in a space where I was being able to have conversations with people and influence people on and off of social media. And so for me, it was not so much, you can make a whole bunch of money doing this, or you could be really successful in it. It was, there's something different that I want to try. Let me try it and actually put some effort into it and see how it goes. Because when we think about influencers, most people think, first of all, I've never been like a size 0 or a size 2. I'm 44, so that's like you were like, at one point in time, all the influencers were all in their like 20s and 30s. No, 20s and teens, I should say. And then also it was like they already, there was something about them that made them stand out. But being an influencer, the most important piece is that you can influence people. You have conversations. And I think that was the piece that really stood out for me, especially as an introvert, because I could do it all online. I did not have to be in anybody's living room. Trust me, I tried Avon. I don't know why I tried Avon. I tried a few other MLMs. I don't know why I tried those either, because that wasn't my personality. But as an influencer, I get to hone in on who I am and do it from the comfort of my own home or wherever I may be at that moment. So that really stood out for me. And I said, you know what? Let's go for it and see how it works. Now, was I always doing just the influencer piece full time? Mm-mm. I currently have 20 plus books published. I'm the award-winning speaker, podcaster, like so many different things. But within the last few years, I really just honed down and cut everything else out, and it's just the influencer piece now.
So how do you stay focused with all of this energy and all these things that you've been doing? Like, and where do you focus your attention?
So staying focused is a real big problem as an influencer, because we deal with burnout, we deal with so many different things. Because I can be very transparent about my journey as an influencer, as a micro influencer. I've been taken advantage of. I've been run amok. I've been ran over by other influencers, by brands, by vendors, and those two are two different things. But I think something that really stood out for me was, as a micro influencer, I got to be in connection with different brands and conversations that other people were fighting and like selling their soul in order to be able to have these conversations and be connected to certain brands. And for me, it was just a matter of being in the right space. It was the consistency. And so people often ask, well, how do you stay focused? How do you keep the momentum going? Here's the thing. The first most important thing that you have to understand is that nobody can push through when they're at their lowest point. And I get it that we want to have the magic to be able to kind of just run through and keep going, but sometimes you have to stop. And here where I have had to do that as a single mother of 4, I've had moments where I had to completely stop. When I decided to do entrepreneurship full time, it was me saying, I need something different. I can't do this anymore. And I literally sat down with my children and said, this is how much I make for my company that I'm working for. This is how much I make. If I make this amount for us, it's for the family, it's for whatever we're doing. But if something happens to me today or tomorrow and I'm working for this company, you might get flowers. You might get flowers, but that's all you're going to get. Uh, and so that was the momentum that I needed, was that I'm making $100, $200,000, $300,000 for a company that I have no other investment in. Like there's nothing else coming out, or that I'm receiving outside of the paycheck. And that doesn't change unless you get that quarter raise, that 10 cents, 15 cents. And so it's been the same thing in this influencer and entrepreneurial space, is that, okay, in the moments where things have gone haywire, things look topsy-turvy, okay, I stop. And even at one point when I was working with clients, I would teach them, sometimes you have to go back to basics. Okay, what's the basics when it comes to being an influencer? Engaging with the community, building conversation, most people are like, oh, you have to build and have 10,000 followers. No, you don't, because you saw that many people had 50 and 100,000 followers. And then when they tried to sell something, they got no response. And so that wasn't it. It was the engagement. And so how are you building the engagement? How are you building the conversation? Sometimes if you're at that point where you're like, I'm just at my wit's end, go and say that. Be honest about where you are. Because when we try to put a mask on and still show up, and people can see through that. And over time, it wears you down and it puts you at a worse off position than if you would have just said, you know what, it's been rough, and become relatable. Because guess what? The same way that we get frustrated, and we get frustrated as entrepreneurs, we get frustrated as influencers. People in a job get frustrated. People that are parents get frustrated. People that are volunteering or, serving in some capacity. Everybody gets frustrated at some time, and they just have to go through that process of going back to the basics in order to gain that momentum again.
Yeah, so I think we're having a little bit of problem with connection. You're fading in and out, but I'm going to keep it going and see how it is. But yeah, it's amazing to me how many people will work a 40-hour work week, 50 hours, 60 hours, and like that 25-cent raise and make money for somebody else, but they won't put that hour in at home and work for themselves and try and get started doing something for themselves. I never got that. Oh, that's too much work. That's too much work. But I'll work 60 hours over here. Anyway, what would you say would be the most difficult thing you had to promote as an influencer over the years? And tell us a funny story about that.
You said the most difficult thing that I've had to learn?
The difficult, like what product did you have to promote that you thought was the hard?
Okay. All right. So over the years, I have had numerous products that I have had to promote. And in the beginning, I was kind of like just taking everything, like whatever you would give me, let's go. I'm going to do a video for it and we're going to make it work. So one of the products that was given to me were waders. And so if you don't know what waders are the like overalls that people put on. They use them when they're like washing cars or when they are fishing or any number of things, right? And so I said, oh, okay, we're going to do it. I had my sister put on the waders and I did video. And at the time, it was around Thanksgiving. And one of the pumpkins, one of the like, it was supposed to be a scarecrow, but it had the pumpkin head and it had on waders. And I put that in the video. And those waders sold, even though I did not, I didn't have the waders on, or I wasn't doing anything with the waders, but it still converted. Now, I will say one of the funniest situations was a tent. And I said, okay, we're going to put this tent together. It said that you could put the tent together in like 10 minutes. And I was like, great. Took more than 10 minutes, Jim. Took way more than 10 minutes. And not way more. It's about 13 to 14 minutes. And I was excited about that, Jim. Excited. But I wasn't going to use the tent. I gave the tent to my oldest daughter. Yeah, I'm like, I gave it to my oldest daughter. She's out in Colorado. She'll use the tent. And so she says, well, we're a competitive family. So she says, well, me and my boyfriend are going to put it together. And I said, okay, great. Like 7 minutes, Jim. They put the tent together in 7 minutes. I was so embarrassed.
That's all right. That's all right. You did your best. No, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. Nothing to be embarrassed about. That's pretty funny. So what are your thoughts about the Amazon Influencer Program in 2024, where it's at today? I mean, you've been on in it longer than me. I'm like, we're coming up on 3 years now. And so I don't know, you've probably been in, I know you've been in the groups that I've been in since the beginning.
So I've been about the same amount of time as you, Jim. And I have to say, we've seen some ebbs and flows with the influencer program that have been for our favor and against us sometimes. But one of the things that I love about the influencer program is the fact that when I create a video for a product, it's evergreen. Like, this is one of the most valuable things, because what that means, and if you've ever been an entrepreneur and you understand of, having something that can make revenue without you having to reproduce anything, you do it once, a set it and forget it type deal, right? Going back to the, the old marketing days, you set it and forget it. So when I do a video for a product, whether that product is something somebody buys today or 3 months down the line, somebody sees the video and purchases it, I still get a commission from it. That is one of the most valuable things, because I don't have to keep selling that particular product. With it being on Amazon, the customer is already there. That's the difference between you working in retail, which I've worked retail maybe about 15, 20 years of retail experience, management experience. The difference with being in a retail experience and being in a store is when that person comes in, you have to show them different products and, kind of find out what they want. Normally, when someone goes onto Amazon, they already know what they're looking for, and your video helps them to buy it. They already know what they're looking for, and your picture helps them to say, oh, I may need this too. And so it takes it to another level where the customer is being brought in a large scale number of people day to day from all over the world. And your one video that you create is there. You don't have to do anything extra special to it. You don't have to boost it like you're on social media. You don't have to boost the post. You don't have to do anything. Now, there's some levels to the thing. We know behind the scenes, there's a lot that goes on with what videos get seen and things like that. But when I do the video, it's there. And so I can do a video on anything, things that I use on a regular basis. And guess what? If somebody sees the video and purchases it, again, that's the commission right there. Makes it easy.
Yeah, I call it my clone army. I said put those videos out there, and they're clones of me out there working 24/7. I'm somewhere else doing something else, and they're out there earning me money at 24/7. It's my clone army. I love it. That's excellent. So my other question was, what is your favorite platform to make content for? I know I see you on TikTok now a lot, and we know we're Amazon influencers, and I'm sure you do Facebook groups. What is your workflow look like?
So the content that I make, TikTok right now, I'm just getting back into TikTok because I had an account at one point. I had like 1,000 followers or something, and I closed it and started all over again. That whole start all over thing, right? And I'm kind of just getting back to, I think I'm just at like 700 followers at this point. So it's kind of revving back up. But my favorite platform right now, after TikTok, would have to be Instagram. It would have to be IG. Facebook is, it's still so for me when it comes to engagement. It's like a hit or miss. IG, you kind of get more engagement depending on the type of content that you're putting out there. But you get a lot of engagement in the DMs on IG more so than some of the other platforms too. Like, I love that how they have it set up where if you are doing business in your DMs on Instagram, there's certain things that you can set up as well. TikTok is going to be the listen. TikTok is the golden child right now. So because there's the potential for, anything can happen. A video can go viral. We just saw a whole series on Who the Heck Did I Marry go absolutely crazy viral just from one person telling their story of, oh crap, I married the wrong person. Uh, and similar stories have gone viral, but we've also seen some positive things go viral. We've seen some not so positive things go viral. And I think right now that's the platform where everything is just kind of is popping. The other thing is, although I haven't been as active on YouTube and Pinterest, they kind of give like a similar vibe with it being the long game. So TikTok, Instagram are the here and now. YouTube and Pinterest are like long game. I can post a link, I can post a video, and somebody may watch it a year later. And it build and go to a whole nother level. Whereas TikTok is like here now. Even though on TikTok, I will say that there has been a kind of shift. And in the last couple months, maybe even a little bit more than that, we've been seeing some of the videos from like 2021 pop up on your For You page. 2022 stuff has been popping up on your For You page. They're kind of like cycling some things around. So we've seen some videos that are like a couple years older starting to pop up. But outside of that, most of the stuff on your For You page is like here and now. It was posted the last month, the last 3 months, last week. Whereas Facebook is it's just there. And mind you, I will post similar content on each platform. Sometimes I'll post the same thing on multiple platforms and see how it does. And I may post something on Facebook and Instagram and it's the same thing. And it gets a great engagement on Instagram and horrible engagement on Facebook. You just never know.
So we got a question. Is success on social an art or a science? It's on websites, like art or a science.
You said sales on social?
What do you think?
Oh, success on social, is it an art or a science? So here's the thing. I have to say success on social media is a combination of both. And the reason I can say that is there are some people that have broken it down to a science and they've been able to be successful that way. And there are some people that they've been able to use the art of it. I want to say that if you're looking to connect with people and stay connected, the art is the way to go. If you're looking for just the payday, the science is going to be the way to go. That's just the honest goodness truth. So I'll give an example. Most times you'll see people on social media and they're like, oh, and we're giving this away for free. And you're like, oh my goodness, I get this book for free, this shirt for free, I get this for free. Oh my goodness. Yes. Why? Because they know that there's a science to it. When you go and you order that shirt and get that shirt for free, they're getting your information and now you're on their email list. That's the science to it. But if you look at the art of it is building the relationship. So the science is getting your information. The art is getting you to come back and have a conversation with them. So it just depends on what your personal end game is. If your end game is just to make money, that science is it. If your end game is to continue to build and have the conversations, the art, 100%. And you will always see people that do it for just the science. I mean, when it comes to the science of it and the breakdown of it, at some point, you don't hear from them. they just kind of fade to black, and you're like, where did they go? Well, those are usually the people that have made some money, and now when they try to redo what they already did, they don't see the same success. It happens very, very often.
Yeah.
And
I see that on TikTok.
Exactly. Yep. And so they try to rinse and repeat, and they rinse, and when they repeat, they don't get the same results. So the art of it is always going to be top tier, but it depends on what your personal goal is. If your goal
Yep.
is, I want to sell 1,000 copies of this by the end of this weekend, then you may want to go with those steps. But if you're saying, you know what, I don't just want to sell 1,000 copies, I want to have a conversation. I want them, I want to go through the process of reading the book with them. I want them to come to a live event. I want to do Q&As. Then it's going to be the art of it 100%.
So what they're looking for, what, like when you said you left the company and decided to become a full-time, and my question was like, how many hours a week do you work as
So it varies. So I'll give an example. So this week, I am flying out. My youngest daughter graduates. I'm so super excited. She graduates from college. And so I'm flying out and on Thursday. So this week, the beginning of this week, I'm in like go mode. So I'm recording all these videos. I'm editing and uploading videos. Yesterday, I uploaded and edited 15 videos. Today, before I go to bed, I'll have another 15 to 20 videos edited and uploaded. And so I'm in like a rapid go mode. But that's because for the next week, from Thursday to Thursday, I won't be home, and I may edit some videos, but I'm not going to really record anything because I'll be out of town. Unless I find something to record while I'm out. That's a whole other conversation. But I'm going to just spend time with my kids. Like I don't have anything planned. I don't have anything special that I want to do. They're out in the mountains. I'm gonna be outside looking at the mountains like a big kid. But that's it. And so there's times where I go in and I rev up because we have some things coming up. So like Prime Day is coming up. So everybody's trying to get all the products into the influencers so that way they can get videos up in time for Prime Day. You also have, Mother's Day. You have Father's Day, graduation. We have prom time is this time of season. Also wedding season. We're in wedding season. And so these, different products are kind of, coming up. And it's like, okay, well, let me go ahead, get those taken care of and get them uploaded, as well as people getting ready for the summertime, right? You got the cookouts and everything like that. So we have all of these things that people are preparing for. I want to get all of that taken care of because when I'm gone and I'm spending time with family, I just want to spend time with family. I just want to relax. I just want to go and look at the pretty mountains and not have to worry about anything else. And I can do that. Or I can spend a couple hours a day
that's awesome.
editing, recording, and uploading, and then I'm good for the rest of the day. I can go spend time with my niece. Her and I were doing some things together. Me and my sister will go for a walk. Like I can spend time doing whatever it is that I really would rather be doing, as opposed to being at a job for 8 hours and then I get home and I don't get to do anything that I want to do. That's one of the things that really shifted my mind when it came to taking that leap of faith and saying, I can't do this anymore, was as a single mother. When I got home, I was tired. I was exhausted, frustrated, angry. If I had dealt with rude people and difficult situations, when I came home, it's very hard to detach from that. And so there would be some days where I couldn't detach. So now I'm detached from my children because I couldn't detach from the job that I just came from. And so I couldn't keep trying to manage that. And my children, they didn't deserve that. So you come home from a job, you have to cook, homework, clean, and spend time with your kids, and still have some time for yourself, and then get up and do it all over again the next day. So
Yep.
I will say this, one of the most valuable memories that I have when I said I was no longer going to work a job was that first summer. No, within that first year after me leaving my job, I was able to pay for my youngest daughter to go to Greece for a week. That was monumental for me because we rely heavily on the job because we think that's the way we need to go if we're going to survive. And I said at that point, I
To
no
do it.
longer
That's
wanted to
incredible.
just, right? I no longer wanted to just survive. I wanted to thrive. And so me sending her to Greece for a week, that was like, yeah, I can't go back. I can't go back to it.
So you mentioned the amount of products that you're taking videos of. So I have two follow-up questions. One is, where are you getting these products from? And what is, walk me through your process of making a video on, say, a simple product.
That's going to be a funny one. So I get products from all over. There are some programs that I'm a part of, like Logi. Shout out to Ahud and the Logi family. There are some programs through Amazon that I'm a part of where I get brands that send me different things. But also there's brands that reach out to me in the DMs. It goes down in the DMs. They will send me a message in the DM and want to collab on something. And so I have to be very careful about what I say yes to, what, brands I'm collabing with. And then the stuff that's coming in, I have to be mindful of it. So I'll give an example. Today, as I'm getting ready and going through all of the stuff that I already have, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 packages come today. 6 products come today. I had products come yesterday as well. And one of them was the screen door, the magnetic screen door that you can put over your door so you don't have bugs coming in the house. And so that one, because I was like, oh, I can get that video up immediately. It's something people would need now because they're getting ready for barbecues and things like that, and graduation parties, and right. So they can put it up on back door or screen. Let's go ahead and set that up. I had my sister help me set it up. It did not take a lot of time, which I already knew how to set it up. So I was like, I can easily do a video, set it up really quickly, and then that's done with it. But something else came in that was a ceiling fan. Well, I can't just put the ceiling fan. I'm not an electrician. I'm going to have somebody professionally come and do that one. So I know, you have to gauge and understand what it is you can do with your own 2 hands and what kind of time you have to work with. Because I do this full time, I can do it anytime, day or night, no problem. But if you're somebody that's doing this as a side hustle, which it is a very good side hustle, if you're doing this as a side hustle, then you may go and decide, okay, I only can give about 2 hours a day, or I may be able to get 6 hours on a Saturday, or 3 hours on Sunday and 3 hours on Saturday. Understand your time, because nobody can dictate what you can do with your own time. So once you understand what time you have, now I can say, okay, I know it takes me this amount of time to record. So for instance, maybe it took us 20 minutes to do the screen. And that was only because I'm little. My sister's taller than me. And so I was stretching, trying to get it up. And she was just like, move out the way. So it probably wouldn't have even taken 20 minutes. The tent that we talked about earlier, on there it said 10 minutes, right? Right. So we went to put it together. It took us a little bit over 10 minutes. So I record that whole process. That was 10 minutes. Like, it didn't take long. But last week I have a bidet that we set up. One of the bidet attachments. Y'all, on the box it says it's like a 15-minute setup. Took us 3 hours. It took us 3 hours. Took us 3 hours because there was a leak. You had to figure out where the leak was. You had to do this. Then something else happened, and we were like trying to figure it out. It took us 3+ hours to get the bidet done, which the box only said 15 minutes. But that was because we came into a complication. Again, if it wasn't a complication, it may have taken us well, it would have taken us a whole lot less time. Um, every experience is going to be different, but you have to know what time you can actually allot to it. And then the other thing is being deliberate about your time. Trust me, I love K dramas. I love music. I would love to just be dancing around, watching K dramas, eating snacks, and not having to sit and do videos all the time. But I know, okay, let me go ahead and put this time aside to get this done, and then I can go ahead and do the other things.
So do you spend any time going back through your videos, your analytics, and do you spend time on editing and thumbnails and titles, or are you just quickly just throwing these things together and popping them up quickly?
So it depends on the product. I have gone back. One thing that I did notice, I went back because when I first started uploading videos, I would put like, oh, setting up this, setting up that for that. And I wouldn't put the actual name of the brand in the title. Because on Amazon, when we upload, you can only do 60 characters. And so I was trying to do like a description instead of the actual product name or the product brand. And I went back and started adjusting a lot of those older ones and putting the actual product brand in the title. That I did do. I don't do thumbnails anymore, although they are very aesthetically pleasing. Just because they're aesthetically pleasing does not mean that it will convert. So I had some, and at one point I was taking the extra time to make thumbnails. I don't. Here's what I do now is because you still sometimes need to have that extra thumbnail. I take a screenshot from the video, or I'll take a picture while I'm recording. And so I'll take some photos while I'm recording that I can use as a screenshot. Now, we know on our side that, some of those screenshots, you can go ahead and use that as a photo as well and, be able to tag the product too on Amazon. But that's what we do. I stopped doing the extra. I will say that I do sometimes spend a good amount of time when it comes to editing, because if you don't, you have the potential for your for something to be in the background that can get flagged. That part. You have something, you may say something in the video that could get flagged. So you have to be very careful when it comes to the editing. So I do kind of spend a good amount of time with the editing, editing the audio and making sure that the visual is presentable for Amazon. And so when I say that, I'll give an example. You'll get dinged for personal information if you have anything in the background that has an address, a license plate, things like that can get dinged for personal information, because that's what it is. It's personal information. So maybe like 2 years ago, I did a video for an electric bike, one of the Jetson electric bikes. Absolutely loved it. I think I did like videos for like at least 2 of their bikes. And the one part of the video, because I wasn't recording, it was the way they were recording it, they went past some cars and you saw the license plate. So I had to readjust the video in order to do it from a different angle or take that part out completely, so that way that wasn't in the video. Same thing when it comes to having children in video, you got to be careful with that. So yeah, when it comes to the editing, I do, spend a good amount of time with editing. Recording, I can record all different types of angles and things like that, especially if you have a tripod. That's one of the tips for any content creator, is you should have at least one tripod with a ring light. Just saying. But I can go ahead and kind of get different angles and different shots, and I can, cut it up. And some people go, well, what app do you use? Some people use CapCut. They use all different ones. I use iMovie. Like, nothing special. I just use iMovie. I record, I go in iMovie, I'm able to snip it, clip it, do whatever I need to do, adjust it, and good to go.
Hey, there I am. So, if you were, let's say, to somebody brand new, not an influencer yet, and is listening to us and saying, "Hey, that's pretty cool. I want to get started." Would you tell them to get started on TikTok? Would you tell them to get started on Amazon? What would your advice be to somebody brand new?
So I actually just did this. One of my sisters, her and I were talking, and I was just like, you buy stuff from Amazon and you're here and you help me with my videos. You should just sign up. And she was like, I guess. She's a younger sister. And so I was like, you should just sign up for Amazon. Just go ahead, sign up. I'll send you the link. And she signed up. She's been doing it now for almost a month. She's been gaining some traction and getting really good. And like being able to help her get started on Amazon was amazing because with me giving her the information, I'm giving it to her, knowing the hills and valleys that I already had to cross, so that way she doesn't have to cross them. I think that's one of the things that I love about our Friday calls with the other influencers is because we get to share so much, and you have people that have been doing this for years, you have people that's just getting started, and we can kind of share and delve in. You have people like Carrie and Stephanie that post things in our group and give great insight. You have Eileen and David and that give great insight and allow us to be able to understand what's going on with TikTok, what's going on with Amazon. This, did y'all see this? Did you see this? And that makes a huge difference because again, it's all about community. So many people feel like if I give information, then you're going to outshine me. You're going to outdo me. You're going to take that and run with it. Let's be honest. We come across people all the time that steal videos and, to try to, make money off of somebody else's video and all types of other things. But when you find people that are, excelling at something, oftentimes they want to teach, they want to train, they want to help the next person. So that way they're not the only one that's benefiting from it, but not everybody sees it that way. So biggest thing, yes, definitely I would tell them, go ahead, jump onto the Amazon train for sure. If you're on TikTok, continue building on TikTok and, you may be able to integrate or you may be able to do something with TikTok, but definitely get started on Amazon and be a part of a community that matters, a community that cares. We've had some very transparent and open conversations about what this journey looks like. The good, the bad, the ugly, getting accounts canceled and shut down, getting accounts back open, all types. Like we've shared so much in these meetings on Fridays because we understand for some people, this is their livelihood. This is how they're changing the dynamic of their current generation. This is how they're changing their family dynamic. For some others, they're just kind of trying to get into it because they see other people successful with it, and that's fine. But when you're in that type of community, it makes such a big difference. So yes, I definitely am all for going ahead, jumping on this Amazon train and seeing where it takes you.
That's amazing. And that group and those people that you mentioned, they all have helped me just by being there. And, like I'm in my truck at work during the day. I'm like listening and I'm trying to contribute when I can, but I'm a fly on the wall. And then I'm copying and pasting websites into a notepad. So when I go home, I can go and look them up and follow up on stuff. And I've learned so much there. And you really need a place to bounce ideas off of. And so many people are afraid because people are charging money for courses and stuff, and the program's always changing. So the courses get old quick. But if you have like a group where people are always talking and what the current events and hey, I got this email, hey, this happened to me, I got shut down for this, everybody panics and figures it out and we work together. you need community. You need community for sure. Anyway, what did you want to be when you?
Oh, I missed the question. I was like, it sounded like you said, what did you want to be when you grow up? That's
Sorry, I said, what did you want to be when you grew up?
oh, you did say that. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was like, wait, did he just ask me what I want to be when I grow up? I mean, I'm a little bit grown up, just a little bit. No, when it's funny. When I was younger and going into, I want to say middle school and high school, I wanted to be an accountant. So let's talk about that. Let's unpack that. My mother was an accountant. She went to school for accounting. She got a degree in accounting. My mother she had a couple degrees. Amazing woman. And I was like, yeah, I'm good with numbers. I can do numbers. I can do math in my head. I can do this. And I went to my very first accounting class and I hated it. It was the most boring class. It was the most boring class I've ever been in. Shout out to the accountants and CPAs and all of y'all. Shout out to y'all because y'all made it through, and that says a lot about you. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. But I wanted to be an accountant, and because again, being good with numbers. But once I started taking college courses, I wanted to be a social worker or something in the industry, in the industry of psychology. But I realized something. Most people, and especially on our Friday calls, most people don't see my face unless I'm like, if I'm like taking over the Friday call, you'll see my face. But most people don't see my face. I'm an introvert. And why I keep choosing these things where I can't be an introvert, I don't understand. But for me, accounting wasn't it. I tried taking a counseling courses and stuff, and I was in a course where we were watching a therapy session, and the therapy session was it was two videos of the same person, one when they were on their meds and one when they were not. And I was just like, oh, okay. And so we're watching, and on their meds, they're really mellow and calm. And I was like, huh, all right, it's a pretty easy thing. And then without the meds, was when the client said that they were smoking weed with Jesus. And I said, oh, huh, and my face said everything. And my professor said, yeah, I don't think this is going to be good for you. I don't think this is going to be good luck for you, because my face said it all.
No, can't sit on the couch and make faces. Yep.
Like, am I the only one that heard that? I'm looking around the room like, ain't nobody else hear what they just said? Is it just me? Am I the only one? But that's where we are. But I am very big on psychology and the psychological standpoint when it comes to people buying and selling. And so I still have been able to take the things that I've learned and kind of implement it even in the sphere of being an influencer, because again, we talked about the art and we talked about, that the step by step, the process, right? But I've still been able to go ahead and kind of put the things that I've learned when it came to being a counselor or a therapist. I've been able to kind of learn those things and be able to kind of transfix it and transpose it to being an influencer, because again, people want conversation. They want to feel heard, and they want to be able to trust you and trust that you're going to tell them something that's going to benefit them. So it's the same thing.
The amount of influencers that I talk to that are introverts is just incredible. It's like they just, I don't know why they choose it, but it's so many people tell me I'm really an introvert, you know, but I have a YouTube channel, you know. But anyway, tell me a little bit about your TikTok journey.
So
Are you
TikTok
doing
has been
anything with
interesting.
TikTok?
Yes, it's been interesting. Previously I had a TikTok account where I had over 1,000 followers. I shut it down because it was some things going on TikTok, and I was just like, yeah, I don't want to be a part of this. And it wasn't until recently that I went ahead and opened up a brand new account on TikTok. And I said, okay, so what's going to be my, like, what am I doing here? What's the purpose? What's the goal? There's plenty of communities where you can go and get followers to be able to reach the goal, where you can go ahead and start live streaming and things like that. There are actually, and I even saw today, there was like a brand, well, no, there's a company on there that's looking for people that can live stream on TikTok, you know, to be a part of their company. And like, there's so many things that is going on. Like, opportunities are amazing. Matter of fact, sidebar, can you think about it like this? Nobody ever said that influencer was an opportunity. The same way that nobody ever said that being a gamer was an opportunity or was like a job choice, a career choice. So we're learning these things as time progresses, right? And so with TikTok, it's, you're either building community again, or you're telling stories. That's always a big thing on TikTok. So I wasn't really big on telling other people's stories. There's some people that do really well with that. I've never been that person, but I can tell my story. And so for me, showing up on TikTok is literally me getting to the point where now I'm telling my story. So for right now, I'm an empty nester. I'm in my 40s and I am on this health and wellness journey. So I'm sharing different things from behind the scenes with that. And next, I'll start talking about what it is that I do as an influencer. I am a speaker. I am an author. I told you guys earlier, I have 20 plus books that I've already published. And the process has not always been easy, but I have to say the process has been worth it. And so I have tons of stories to tell, especially working in retail. If you've ever worked in retail or customer service, oh, you have stories to tell. You have stories beyond stories beyond stories to tell. And TikTok is a platform where when you tell a story, other people can go and look up receipts of what you're saying to see if it's true. I think that's one of the funniest things about TikTok is people that don't know you from a can of paint will go and check receipts 100%, and don't know why, but they do. And I told somebody, I did a video and I said, you know, the reason why we've been able to be so good at looking things up and searching things out is because we had Carmen Sandiego and Where's Waldo. Because Where's Waldo? We were trying to find him in that ugly shirt in chaotic situations every page. And then Carmen Sandiego, we was looking at stuff all over the world. So we were, this is how we were raised. Depending on what you were raised with. Listen, Looney Tunes. Listen, Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner. We was trying to figure out ways to capture the Roadrunner. Which direction was he going to come from? This is the stuff that we learned growing up. So for me, TikTok is storytelling. It's, you know, I'm outside, I'm walking on the walking pad. I now have some fitness brands that have been reaching out and sending me some things. So I have like shaker bottle. I have shorts that I just recorded a video for earlier today, and you know, some other things. And I think for me, one of the most valuable things in telling my story is I don't look like the typical fitness person. I don't look like, you know, the person, especially when it comes to clothing and stuff like that. I don't look like the picture that they have up there. I look like I'm a real person. And so I'm showing you what it looks like on a size 14. I'm showing you what it looks like in a large, not a small. But that makes a big difference because, again, when we're building conversation and community, I want to be able to value what you're saying and trust what you're saying. So that's what it is for me. TikTok is definitely that platform for me to be able to just story tell.
Okay. So we're coming up on the hour. So before I run out of questions, I wanted to just open the floor and say, is there a question that I haven't asked that you wish I would have asked you that you're burning to tell people?
Oh man, let's see. Have I ever wanted to give up? I think that's a good question, because when people look at success, they think that once you reach a level of success, you just like, oh, you want to push to the next level. And that's not always the case. Sometimes you reach a level of success, or you reach a goal, and you get to that mindset of, can I do better than what I've already done? And I had that I hit that point recently. Um, Recently, I went and I gave away just about everything that I had. And I moved out of my apartment into a good girlfriend's house, and I'm staying in her house so that way I can do some traveling, because that's next on the list. Is, as the influencer, being able to travel. That's always been something that's been on my list. And again, as an empty nester, I now have the opportunity to be able to do so. And so, positioning myself, it's like you go back and say, okay, do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? I may need to just stop doing this. And so I was a podcaster for 7 years. I shut down the podcast. I was a coach, an empowerment coach for women in business for years. I shut that completely down. We had a Saturday accountability call that we did every Saturday, like every Saturday morning. We were on this accountability call, whether it was one person, 20 people, whichever. And I shut that down. Um, I shut down any of my private clients that I was working with. I shut that down. And so, do you ever get a point where you want to just quit? The answer is yes. But I never get to the point where I just want to quit and not do anything else. And I think that's because, again, I set new goals for myself. I understand where I am, and, some of the bigger goals that I haven't hit just yet, how I can go ahead and still achieve those. So you'll get to the point where you'll say, I can't do this anymore. That's fine. Again, understand where you are, value where it is that you are. If you're not going to do this, what are you going to do? What's the next step? What's the next choice? What's the next option? So for some people, that may mean I take a break. For other people, that may mean I just go ahead and kind of refocus and do something else. You may have been focused on one industry, and now you want to go ahead and focus on a different one. It's very valid. It's a valid response. But yes, you will get to a point where you want to quit. I've gotten to points where I wanted to quit completely. And it oftentimes is because I'm kind of juggling too much, or things have gotten a little topsy-turvy. And again, we go back to basics. How do I restart and shift back?
So I was just talking to an influencer the other day, and we were talking about that. And he said what he does is he breaks everything into 90-day, 3-month, blocks, and he reevaluates stuff and changes things every 90 days so he doesn't burn out. And I was like, man, that's a pretty good idea, and it's probably work is good for your business at the same time.
I think about the book, the 12-week year. Uh, that one's a really great book. And most people think, oh, that's a great book for entrepreneurs. It's a great book if you're an influencer as well, because you stop thinking about just the big thing and you kind of break it down more to bite-sized pieces. They say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. that's it. You got to be able to break it down and say, what can I do at this exact moment to reach that bigger goal? Because sometimes the bigger goal may change, or sometimes it's the smaller steps that just need to change. But you have to be able to focus on it and see what that is.
Great. Well, this has been a lot of fun. We're up at the hour mark right now. I don't want to take more influencers so we can go enjoy our lives. But I really appreciate you being here. It was a blast. I had a lot of fun, learned a lot. Would love to have you back. We have questions in the chat. They want to know more about self-publishing and being a publisher. So maybe we'll have another session and do something like that in the future. Yeah, but that would be great. I'd love that. But yeah, thanks for coming, and I'll see you on Friday in the group.
Most definitely. See you guys.
Oh, there we go. So that's it. So Altovise was a great guest. So did you guys learn anything? I learned a lot. Let me tell you, that is great stuff. I mean, when you get to ask the questions, it's pretty cool. And I wanted to ask a couple of fun ones and a couple of zingers, trying to peel back the onion and seeing what's going on when you're a full-time influencer. How did you get there? And it's always nice to see how they got to be from where they were to where they're going. And I'm going to try and get more people like that coming down on Tuesday and sharing their experiences and showing you how they got to where they were or where they are from where they were. I think that's a pretty valuable thing, because success leaves clues, as they say. And you've got to find somebody to follow and learn from. But in the Amazon Influencer Program, you got to be careful, because if you're learning from somebody who's talking about a year ago, things have changed, and you might be doing stuff that they're starting to crack down on. So make sure everything you get is current. Okay, find yourself a group like the one we're talking about on Fridays. Contact me if you need the link. I don't have it handy right now, but I will give it to you if you ask me. Excellent group, worth every time I go there. Fridays at 12 o'clock, and they have a Logie meeting at 2 o'clock. You'd be sad to miss it. And of course, I got my Sunday meetings. We're going to the creators on the Amazon Creators Guild, where we go hang out and talk shop. It's kind of like a Zoom place, but where you can share your camera and to each other and ask questions. So I can see there'll be a link in the description for that. You didn't know.live. Go to youdidn't.live. You can sign up for that newsletter. All right. Anyway, it was my pleasure to be with you today, and I will see you next time. On the Muppet Show. Let me see where I'm like. Here we go. I don't know. It's not working.